Hi guys, it's a good evening, and maybe I want to share one or two things, and I believe you can learn something. Well, if you're a sprinter, there are several things that you must know. Which muscles to train? There are those muscles that are very important when it comes to sprinting. Here I mean 100 meters, 200 meters, up to 400 meters. If you do not know these muscles, then I think it is time for you to get serious with your career. 100 meters, 200 meters is not a joke. It is a game, it is a sprint that you must be ready. And for you to be ready, you must know exactly which muscles are you training. Because any weakness in one of these muscles will lead to an injury anytime you overspeed or you push yourself. So let's get to understand which are these muscles. So I'll mention these muscles one by one. Note them down and then we shall discuss them step by step. The first muscle is the gluteus maximus. The gluteus maximus is the major muscle when it comes to sprinting. So as a sprinter, if you have weak gluteus muscle or maximus, then you will have a very big challenge making good times. The second group of muscles is what we call hip flexors. It involves what we call the psoas major muscle. Psoas major is one of the greatest hip flexors. Remember, you need to flex, you need to raise your hip, you need to raise your thigh high as you run, as you sprint. The muscle that is involved in raising your thigh is called the psoas major. The other muscle that is very, very important, and most of the time it's assumed, people do not train this. This muscle is called the sartorius muscle. The sartorius muscle, what it does, it's a hip flexor, but what you guys keep on talking about frequency, how the leg turns, the way the leg stands, that is the work of the sartorius muscle. If it is not trained, basically we're going to have trouble. Then the other group of muscle that is also very, very important for you is what we call the hamstring bundle. The hamstring bundle has three major muscles. The hamstring bundle, we have the semimembranosus and semitendinosus. This comprises of the hamstring bundle. Now, if this muscle, called the hamstring bundle, is not trained well, be rest assured there is nowhere you're going. You're wasting time, a lot of running, you're wasting a lot of energy. The hamstring bundle has to be conditioned very, very well for you to be able to make any significant time. The other muscle which is very key for you as a sprinter is what we call the adductus magnus. The adductus magnus is responsible for adduction. The thighs have to be adducted and streamlined straight into the lane without wasting energy of the thigh moving side by side. What keeps it in line is the adductus magnus. If it is not trained, be rest assured, nothing significant. We're going to waste a lot of time, a lot of calories. The other important group of muscle is the quadriceps. The quadriceps also functions to give you the energy, the power to power on, to push on the ground. Is the quadricep muscle. If the quadricep group of muscle is also not trained, remember, you guys, most of the time, you end up training very few kind of muscles. You go do the squats, do the lunges, but you don't keep keen interest on which muscles to train. So this is where I'm trying to mention these muscles before we go to now discuss one of these muscles. each and every muscle and its function. So the quadricep group is also another major key. The other group is what we call the calf muscle. Now the calf has two segments. We have the soleus and the gastrocnemius. The gastrocnemius has two bellies. Now these two bellies goes and combine together with the soleus, and they now end up with the Achilles tendon. This is also one of it, because the Achilles tendon is one. This is now your spring. The minute you hit the ground, you hit the track. What helps you spring from that track is the Achilles tendon, which is connected to the calf, the soleus muscle. It has its own training. Remember, training the Achilles and training the calf are two different things. You guys, I don't know whether you know how to train both the Achilles, the gastrocnemius, and the soleus. We're going to go through that, and you will now understand the importance of this thing. Dorsiflexion, when you raise your foot after you hit the ground, there is the muscle that is responsible for maintaining the dorsiflexion bit of the foot while it is on air, the anterior tibialis. If this muscle is not trained, you're going to end up with a situation of a collapsed foot while it's on air, or a possible of developing shin splint or shin pain. So the impact, who is responsible for this shin? It's because the anterior tibialis has not been trained the way it's supposed to. Let's go to the core. We have what we call the latissimus dorsi. Latissimus dorsi, again, it's important when it comes to your core. This is the muscle that will actually ensure that both the upper body and the lower body, which is now the legs and the core, is intact for you to be able now to coordinate what we call neuromuscular coordination. You need a very, very fit, well-conditioned latissimus dorsi. If it is not, be rest assured we have problems. We are not going anywhere. So these are very key muscles that I have mentioned. And these muscles, if trained well, then it becomes very easy for you to go under 10 seconds in 100 meters. If these muscles have a problem, then it becomes difficult. You will never ever find a way of going sub 10. So the guys who have been able to go under sub 10, look at them properly. Look at their hamstring bundle. Look at the hip flexors. Look at the adductors. Look carefully about their calf, their Achilles. And these guys, it's very hard for them to get injured, because the most key muscles, starting from the gluteus, the hamstring bundles, the calf muscle, the quadriceps, as well as the psoas major, the latissimus, it's well fixed. It doesn't matter what speed you will move. You don't get an injury when it comes to that, unless it's an accident. But just by virtue of sprinting, you don't get an injury. So if you're suffering from injuries, get to understand it all comes from the conditioning of these muscles. Apart from now the medicinal part, whereby if there could be deficiencies, these muscles are not getting enough. We have gone through that with you, and I believe you know what you're supposed to do. All factors remaining constant, these muscles are in good health, then all it wants, it is conditioning of these muscles. If they are well conditioned, then they will have enough power and enough endurance, and they're going to give you exactly what you'll see a big difference. And the mistake we do as sprinters is going for short sets that are so heavy. It doesn't make sense. Lifting very heavy does not make sense. That is not how you train these muscles. No. Where heavy weight is good, yes. no problem with that. But if it is about conditioning, then it's not heavyweight. It is the times that you repeat the same exercise until the muscles gain the flexibility, the strength, the endurance, and it will now give you exactly the agility that you want in that muscle. If that does not happen, forget it. You will still go on running 10-9, 10-7, 10-3. So if you want to dip into 10-01 and you want to dip into 999, 986, 976, these muscles must be well equipped. The gluteus, I started with gluteus maximus. I went to hamstring bundle. I went to quadriceps. I went to the calf muscles, which is now the soleus and the gastrocnemius, anterior tibialis. I went to psoas major. I went to sartorius. I went to adductor magnus. I went to what we call latissimus dorsi. Very key muscles. If you cannot be able to train them, then you have a long way to go when it comes to sprinting. Thank you very much. I believe I've been able to share something. All I request from you is please subscribe to the channel and you keep on learning. So we're going to look at these muscles one by one as we go by. Thank you very much.